Hi everyone, welcome to Retail TV. Today I have with me somebody very special who is actually changing the face of retail with tech, and that gets only interesting with every innovation he's bringing. So I have Mr. Sadique with me, the CEO of Pathfinder. He's going to talk about Retail GPT. Yes, it's very interesting. So Sadique. Let's start from the idea of Retail GPT. How did it come to you and what is it?
So it goes back to an innovation which we did way back in 2009, where we were involved in revenue assurance, capture of sales data for shopping centers, for airports, any retail real estate. So we were on top of the retail sales data, and we were able to see how it transformed the way analytics would work, which category does well, apart from the computation of the revenues for the landlords. That was the beginning how we ventured into database decision making for various decisions. But then we saw a huge vacuum. Just the sales data was not going to help. The icing on the cake was customer data. So if we were imagining if with the sales data, if we only knew the receipt numbers and what is the value of each receipt against each retailer, but if only we could put a name to it as who's buying, and that was something it struck to us 10 years back, and that was something when we discussed with our clients who are the airports and the shopping centers. They said this is amazing. If only we could know who's buying, then that gives us a roadmap to understanding customer behavior, all that stuff. So that's the starting point for us. And from then, we started figuring out how do we do this. And thanks to tech, we did many innovations after that. We launched a platform called Rappo to digitize a retail store. But the real exponential adoption was required for us to bring those mass behavioral aspect of it. And that's how AI came in, and we said this is the only. So it was not an overnight thing. I would say the seeds were laid 15 years ago, and we were in pursuit of how do we accomplish this. And AI came in, and not just AI. AI alone was not enough, so we had to elevate to Gen AI, which is conversational in nature. So if you ask me, what we have come today is something impossible or something unimagined, but it has come a long way.
Amazing. And this intrigues me because, retail is a vast sector and the ecosystem is only growing. So obviously, Retail GPT has to customize for each sector. So how do you do it sector-wise? Is there something unique that you're doing when it comes to fashion, when it comes to food, and the other sectors?
Let me, to answer that question, let me give you a little bit of background of what Retail GPT does.
Yeah.
So Retail GPT, on the face of it, it creates thousands of AI for every user. So if I'm a user, I have my digital avatar, which is exclusively to me. Similarly, the businesses, which are the retailer, the store, each store will have its own AI. So basically what we are creating is an AI interface for every user here, and my behavior, my transaction, my likes and dislikes, my avatar is actually building up. He's like my digital twin who's getting to know me, and he will then look out for what I want. And today, if you say, let's say I'm habitual to buy a pizza from a particular joint, I just get me the pizza, just prompt. And it does the transaction, orders, and gets the delivery done. Even the nuances of the delivery guy calling you is handled by him.
Wow.
So you don't have to pick up the phone, yeah, please come. He'll give the directions to the rider.
Amazing.
So that's how the AI is. Now, this is on the user side. On the business side, imagine if, let's say you're a restaurant, okay? Imagine if you were visiting a restaurant and the guy comes up and saying, welcome back, what can I offer you? I think you came here 2 weeks ago and we offered you a biryani, and can I offer you this today? So you would be left amazed, because unless you personally know the guy and he to remember your transaction. So AI is actually, what it is doing is, it is personalizing every interaction, and you will be also able to fuel your next level of stickiness, and the growth comes automatically.
Amazing. But that's food.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question, so the AI that is getting implemented as when a store comes on board is private to the category that it is. For example, if I'm an apparel store, the way the AI knows how to deal with the apparel customer. If I'm an F&B category, the AI will learn as a sales. So every AI that is installed for a business is like the head of sales of that store.
Wow.
So he knows what are the intricacies. So the learning that we are building on these AI models are specific to the categories. And it's like this: you appoint a sales head for your store. That's what the AI does.
Amazing. But when it comes to AI and tech, there's one thing that always comes to people's mind. What is the security? How is data getting treated? And you are dealing with a huge chunk of data here. So how do you give assurance to...
So here, we have been witnessing a lot of data privacy laws, data residency compliances, GDPR regulations. So we have seen it all. And then what we have bring on the table is each user is the owner of his data.
Okay.
So I have the ability to get anonymized. If I just anonymize, nobody will have access to your data. So I give access to my use data, my behavioral data to a brand in exchange for some privileges that he will give. So it's the ownership lies with the respective user, and the business data of a store is owned by the store. So RetailGPT is a custodian of data, and the respective stakeholders own their respective data. So that way, the entire ecosystem is under the compliance of data residency compliances. On top of it, because this is a different model, it's an LLM model, we have implemented the required level of security. Each country-specific data would reside in those respective countries. So we have taken enormous care in how this whole data is going to sit out of. But every user has access to the ownership of his data. He owns his data.
Amazing. You are leading RetailGPT all across the globe. Any challenges or specific pain points that you have come to realize that you need to kind of work on and cross over in the time to come?
So we have just pre-launching this. We are going to go live in August this year. Why a pre-launch is required is we are onboarding the partners, the stakeholders, the retailers, the shopping centers, the airports, with whom we have been working for the last 15 years. We're onboarding them now. So when we are ready to go live, we have the entire ecosystem already on the... So right now we are in that phase of onboarding the businesses on the platform. We are going live in 4 countries this year, which is UAE, Saudi, India, and Sri Lanka. 4 countries. A global rollout is planned early next year. So within this year, we want to stabilize with these 4 markets, have our learnings, because each market has a different per capita, different experience, has a diversity included. So our learnings will come on top of this. So we will do a course correction on whatever required before we do a global launch.
Amazing. That looks, sounds very promising, and all the best to you. Lastly, as a leader who has, evolved with retail, and you have closely looked at the retail industry grow, what are the top 3 trends that you see is shaping the industry in the coming months, in the run to 2025?
The first thing is customer engagement. The more a brand is close to a customer, more he is close to his growth path. And he has to create, so every brand has realized that they need to know their customers more. Today, on an average, on a global scale, not more than 10% is the maximum knowledge that they have on average. Some brands who are very sophisticated have a higher percentage of their customers, but discovery of their own customers is the biggest challenge, which is what we are solving for a brand. So now we will be able to discover more customers, which is very less than 10% today is what you know. So, and why do they need to know their customers? First is discovery of their customers. The second one is to engage with them. Now, if you today, most of the brands are doing social interaction, but they don't know who matters to them the most. How do you know? If I know there are programs which are implemented, loyalty programs, which will tell, okay, I'm a huge spender. I spend about 1,000 dirhams the last 6 months. But what the brand doesn't know is what percentage of my overall spend is that.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we are focusing on. So which is why you need to know your customers. If you ask me the 3 things: that discover your customers, engage with them, and leverage on technology to create a wow experience, delight your customers with. There are so many nuances in the whole journey and customer journey. So Retail GPT is definitely going to solve those nuances, making the entire journey of the customer experience, the customer seamless, and that's the primary reason why a customer would stick to a brand.
Amazing, amazing. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for joining
having
us.
Thank you so much.